So here we are, and TikTok is taking the first step in creating what they're calling a hate speech manager. It's a new job, a new position. Haven't had one before. Now they do. It's called hate speech manager. Let's look at the story.
Danita Jankowicz.
Here we go. TikTok hires ex-Israeli military associate to censor anti-Zionist content. TikTok has appointed a new hate speech manager with long-standing ties to the Israeli regime amid mounting pressure to curb anti-Israel content on the social media platform. Her name is Erica Mindel, who previously served as an instructor in Israel's military, has been tasked with shaping TikTok's stance on what the company refers to as anti-Semitism, according to TikTok officials. Mindel will develop and drive the company's positions on hate speech, seek to influence legislative and regulatory frameworks, and analyze hate speech trends with a particular focus on anti-Semitic content. So all you other people getting discriminated against, you can get in the back of the line because you know who's up first. Anti-Semitic content, according to an official job description shared by TikTok. Let's hear Erica Mindel give us her little resume, little meet and greet, as they say. Hi, Erica. Nice to meet you. What are you about? Tell us about how'd you get to where you are right now, Erica? We'd love to know.
Of 2014, after my sophomore year, like many of my friends, I had a summer internship, a Goldman Fellowship at AJC. I came to work each morning as Israel engaged in one of the larger military operations of my lifetime, Tzuk Eitan, Operation Protective Edge. That summer, I realized how impactful my Jewish upbringing and education was. I simultaneously realized how passionate my own Zionist identity had become. I knew the well-being of Jews worldwide and the security of Israel would be issues of lifelong importance to me. I grew up in a traditional Jewish household, but in an untraditional decision, after graduating from Michigan, I made Aliyah and enlisted in the Israel Defense Forces. I spent the next 2 years serving as a Madrichat Shirion, an instructor in the Armored Corps. To many, this might seem like a contradiction. For a woman who identifies as liberal and progressive to be a Zionist so committed as to join the IDF, for me, these two identities go hand in hand. My American, Israeli, Jewish progressive identity is complex and layered, and it's full of rich Jewish values. It is my own, but connected to my parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents' experiences. My identity was shaped by my upbringing, but cemented by my life experiences and my own decisions. It's defined by me alone, but still connected to the modern world in which I live and to the greater Jewish story that has spanned generations. I'm a proud American Jew.
So clearly this little PSA they put together was designed to, I guess the propaganda part of it is that she's telling everybody that her Jewishness and her ideology, her Zionism, which is by choice, let's be clear, to be a Zionist means you've chosen a certain mindset of superiority and victimhood. It's a mindset. It's a choice. She's equating that, mixing it, mashing it together, fusing it with her European Jewish heritage. And I'll emphasize the European part of that. Yeah. Craig, what is your assessment of this, that they put this up here as a way to say, hi, meet and greet. This is your new hate speech manager on TikTok.
Well, I don't know if they're at this point what they're trying to do when they're pushing the Zionism down our throats at this point, still trying to justify every single move that Israel makes if they're just looking for the low-hanging fruit. But this was the danger of trying to make it just a third rail, right? Like, Donald Trump sucks on Israel, but he's good on all these other things. Like, no, it's going to continue. And it's, once again, it's at the root of the problems when it comes to censorship. It's at the root of the problems when it comes to foreign policy because, we're marching along. So I don't know who they're trying to convince with this, moving this person forward. She's definitely better than Nina Jankowicz. But the same mentality, same type of job to censor people, to shut them down. And they laid it out in the description. So to me, it's just that they're going to continue to go along with this. The government of the United States, from top to bottom, has been bought off by the Israeli lobbyists, and they're going to continue to throw this down our throats until we do something about it. And I don't know what we could do about it just other than reject it can constantly reject. We should reject what she is talking about, what she is pushing on her face. I don't care what you did in the summer. I don't care about your passionate Zionism. And you're not a progressive if you are a Zionist. They're completely different. Maybe in the terms of a Nancy Pelosi being a progressive, which she is not. But this needs to be rejected on its face.
Yeah.
Once again, we were able to push back against Nita Jankowicz. I hope we can push back against this woman as well.
So we discussed this on Truthwire with Fee yesterday, and I guess I kind of had a suspicion that well, we know this is linked to the Stop Hate Act. So let me just make sure people understand what the Stop Hate Act is, because this is clearly linked to that. This is a bipartisan bill that was put together by one on each side. Yeah. The ADL it's like a three-pronged thing. They got a Democrat, they got a Republican, and they got Jonathan Greenblatt himself to stand up there and tell us that this legislation is so important because of anti-Semitism. And it talks about how they're going to be targeting these particularly 5 social media companies, TikTok being their primary one. So we're seeing it in action, how they target them. And specifically, and we'll put this one up as well so you guys can see, they list exactly what they're going to be doing, requiring social media companies to explain the standard by which they would judge whether content generated or proliferated by terror. Okay, so what they're calling a terrorist would be deemed in a violation of the company's terms and services. If they don't comply, they will be fined $5 million, and that's per whatever they consider a violation. And again, this is all subjective, whatever Jonathan Greenblatt decides to be considered violating the terms of services, which they have to provide their own company's terms of service. So this is being dictated by the state to these private companies. So that's the overreach that the ADL is at right now. With that said, these are the ones, and again, they tell you the ones they're going after: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and X. And then they give all the reasons why this is so necessary right now. And then we've covered all these things, the Grok situation with the Mecca Hitler.
Which they're trying to reel this back,
yes.
Right? They're trying to say, okay, that they weren't, once again, Congress used to go to bring the lords of the underground of the tech companies, Jack Dorsey. I forgot the dude from Facebook. Excuse me, not from Facebook, was Mark Zuckerberg, the guy from Google who had taken over. And they'd bring them there, and they would whip them until they would get in line, and they would reel back a lot of speech. You know, people like Dick Blumenthal, who's over there spending our money and wanting Nazis to go ahead and kill ethnic-speaking Russians and funding them. That guy who still wants that war to go on. He's also back home making sure that we get censored and we can't hear what's going on. So there was a little bit of a lull, right? Like it came to a point where it was pushed back so much. We were talking about with Steve, why now, right? And all of a sudden they start releasing certain stuff. And Elon takes over. And it looks like Elon's showing us transparency. Meanwhile, he's doing a little shit in the background. He's still censoring other people and promoting his other people, right? There was a little bit of let loose. This is, again, we need to reel it back. We need to bring back in TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, X, and get them in there to make sure they start censoring what we deem anti-Semitic. But we understand what they deem anti-Semitic is anybody who has any criticism of the Zionist nation of Israel.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do because Israel still has more work to be done.
Yeah.
They might have gotten Gaza and bombed it all up. And Steven just mentioned, we talked about it. There's nothing left. Now the New York Post is reporting on this at the end. Donald Trump is saying kids are starving at the end, right? Okay, but they still have more work to do. They're still bombing in southern Lebanon. They still want more of Syria. The Greater Israel project still is going on, and it will be going on for the rest of Donald Trump's next 3 years. So that's why they have to do this right now, to make sure that they can go forth with doing what they want to do, because the pushback against their plan is the problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, and not to mention the Palantir element, which is also so important because you got the military, this aggressive military action. We talk about Alex Karp saying that there's going to be a 3-front war on China, on Russia, on Iran. In order to do this, you have to implement this tech to target people and determine who your enemy is and then punish your enemy. And Alex Karp mentions very specifically journalists who challenge us. Yeah. So that's not us getting overly paranoid about us calling ourselves independent media. We might be the first to be targeted. So all this, and it's not speculation. This is just us putting the pieces together. So we talked about this yesterday on Truthwire, and the reason why I wanted you guys to see it on this show, and I wanted your thoughts on this because I know you've had discussions with James Lee, and he does some incredible work. And he kind of put the pieces together that I saw after I had the conversation with Fee. And I want to show you guys this because this brings it home to why we in this space, this independent media space, is going to be first, literally first on the chopping block. If not, if anything else has already gone, we're next up. So listen to James's coverage on this story and what happened after that. It's pretty unbelievable.
News, TikTok has just hired an ex-Israeli army instructor as their new hate speech manager. Quote, the social media platform announced that Erica Mindell, a former U.S. State Department contractor who worked for Ambassador Deborah Lipstadt, the Biden administration's special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, will join TikTok's public policy and hate speech team in the U.S. In a 2021 interview, Erica confirmed that she made Aliyah and enlisted in the IDF after graduating from college. Now, for those of you who don't know, Aliyah means ascent or rise in Hebrew, and for generations of Jews, going to Israel has been viewed spiritually and geographically as an upgrade. So now Aliyah has come to refer to the process of obtaining citizenship and residency by moving to the state of Israel. The practice is known as, quote, making Aliyah. Journalist Chris Menahan is reporting that the position that she just got pays between $178,000 to $330,000 a year and was created under pressure from the Anti-Defamation League.
That's key. It's pressure. So this is actually what happened. It's not TikTok is saying, oh, we should do this. It's the pressure of it.
Yeah.
Now, just let's finish this.
He says, quote, TikTok is no doubt complying with these censorship demands to try and stave off a ban. This is state censorship, not to suppress criticism of America, but to suppress criticism of Israel. Wonder if this video will be taken down.
And now that's the most important question. I wonder if this video will be taken down. Now, we don't know what's going on with James Lee's TikTok. We know obviously this has been shared on Twitter. That's where we grabbed it. But this part is the most concerning of all, Craig. This was his post on the bottom where he says, no surprise, TikTok's new hate speech manager, ex-IDF soldier, made Aliyah, means ascent in Hebrew, refers to the process of obtaining citizenship and residency by moving to Israel. I wonder if this reporting will be considered hate speech. Look what happened after that. James Lee says, I just got off the phone with a TikTok insider warning me that they are in process of doing a full sweep to ban accounts that have posted anti-Israel, pro-Palestine content, and that I should probably delete this post right away. This isn't paranoia. This isn't us going overboard. This is happening. It's actually happening.
Yeah, I did the interview with James Lee talking about the ADL and what happened. We talked about TikTok. That's what the interview was about. We showed it on the Truth Wire. And, you know, James had laid out clearly what TikTok is doing. We went over some of the testimony. Remember the Singaporean CEO who was pressured and they were trying to kind of staple, you know, you can see the government people like Tom Cotton trying to connect the CCP with TikTok and trying really hard to do so. Regardless of what was said, we understood that TikTok is going to have to play ball if they want to stay in the United States. Yep. They've been to the point where they've almost been wiped out completely. We had the whole Red Note scare where people went over to Red Note.
Yep.
And that's there. So for TikTok to exist, and they do want to exist in the United States, when it comes to the United States, it won't be what algorithm driving the Chinese situation is, which why TikTok shows a lot of the stuff. They actually lean on the algorithm and let the algorithm actually work. They're going to have to reel it back. They're going to have to change their algorithm. They're going to have to shut things down. They're going to have to play ball. They're going to have to censor. And that's why they hired this girl from the ADL got them to do that, because if they want to exist, they're going to have to play by the rules that the United States government puts forth for them. Something we should be pushing back against. But it's the same old, same old. They're quadrupling down on all this stuff. Censorship is still moving forward. The Israeli project is still moving forward. We are just at the whims of the government. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, this is exactly. And so just watching James Lee in the crossfire of this, like he's in the front lines getting this, literally a Twitter person telling him this is happening right now.
Person.
So then, the TikTok person. So what's next is Twitter. What's next is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
They're already there. YouTube. They're already there. They've been there. They've been gone there. That's the thing. They want to get TikTok into the same standards that the YouTubes, the X's, and they already run at. They're already been there.
But this part's new. The part about the ADL with the Stop Hate Act. This is the part that puts even YouTube over the edge. We know obviously YouTube has been censoring us. They've been shadow banning, demonetizing. But if they're going to be getting a $5 million fine every time Jonathan Greenblatt determines a terrorist post has happened on their platform, they want to avoid that in advance. And so this is why all the technology is in place. They're just going to be doubling down and probably following TikTok's lead. So yeah, I think we might be next, guys. So let's enjoy our ability to do this right now, at least on those 5 platforms. Not that we care so much about Facebook and Instagram as much, but YouTube's important, you know. Twitter's important. TikTok's important to a lot of people. That's where a lot of people on Twitter get information that's shared from TikTok. So we're all trying to keep independent media alive, but it's a battle, man. We are.
It's just gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse. Yeah. Okay, let me take a moment to introduce you to our good friends over at World Harvest Food Bank right here in LA. World Harvest has been serving families across Los Angeles for 18 years now, and they started with this simple idea. Everyone deserves access to healthy, affordable food no matter what they're going through. With their Cart with a Heart program, families can walk away with a full cart of groceries, fresh produce, dairy, meat, and pantry supplies for just a $50 contribution. That's for the entire cart. That same cart will cost over $300 at a typical grocery store. At World Harvest, everyone is welcome. They don't ask for income verification, ID, or any paperwork. No. Basically, their doors are open to anyone who's doing their best, but just needs a little extra push to get by. If you're an Angelino like me, you know the times have been tough here. First with all the union strikes, the LA fires, and now the ICE raids going on. It seems like we're living in a constant state of uncertainty. And that's why it's so important to support local charities like World Harvest, because they aren't just helping the community. They're an essential function in its very survival. World Harvest is located at Venice and Arlington. And right now, you can use our special discount code THL20 for 20% off your contribution amount at checkout. And if you're not in the LA area, you can still help out with a $50 donation, which will provide a full cart of food for a family by going to worldharvestfoodbank.org or scan the QR code for more info. Or you can just spread the word. Follow them online. Let people know they're here for them, because at the end of the day, it's about providing choice, access, and relief without barriers. World Harvest Food Bank. End hunger now.